Hi guys, it's Tony here from Signal Speed. Today is the 22nd of February 2017. This morning we're looking at the charts and we've just seen a lot of trends emerging from these charts. Obviously, trends don't really work well with the support and resistance strategy that we tend to use, but you can find little pockets of support as it's sort of climbing up. Now, so having a look at the economic calendar this morning, there's been quite a bit of news coming out of Europe already, which has all been positive, and today it's actually sort of showing that on charts as well. Now, yesterday we had a lot of news coming out of Europe on the calendar, and the majority of it was positive for the euro, but it was trending in the opposite direction. It seemed to have the opposite effect on the charts. It was missing something somewhere, but the euro wasn't as strong as all this would have suggested. But this morning, like I say, since 9 a.m., we've seen some nice sort of upward trends coming from the euro. We at 9:30 we had data coming out of Great Britain. I think just ahead of that, sort of people started holding off investing in the euro. That news was negative for the Great British pound, and it's just shot straight back up again. And that's actually it's pretty much the same over most of the Great British pound pairings as well. If we have a look at the Great British pound, Swiss franc. That data at 9:30 again had it pulled back in favour of the Great British pound, and as soon as that data was released, it's just bombed. So it's really not the best data. We've got more data coming out of Europe in the next 5 minutes. So just looking at this, I'm going to see how this data is going to affect the charts. Obviously, if it's positive data from Europe, we've got is the CPI coming out of Europe and things like that. If that's positive, we'd expect another burst pulling away from the Great British pound there, especially with that negative news for the Great British pound. If it was positive, then it would have held a little bit more strength, but at the moment it's just slipping. So yeah, in the next 5 minutes we should hopefully see that. After that, then it's all going to be about the US dollar. Now there's been a few moments this morning, really, just having a look through the charts, and you see that it's become a lot harder to find the support and resistance, and this is one of the better charts looking at, really. It's sort of really nice solid resistance line there, and it just slips. So this has been happening a lot, really, and it's just become a little bit too unpredictable. This looks like the beginning of a downward trend here, so I would be tempted to trade this as resistance and let it reach little resistance pockets as it's sort of on its sort of natural downward trend like that. But you might be able to find them little pockets, but it's really hard to actually send a signal out because it's really not going to last very long. Again, the Euro GBP, we just noticed this one a moment ago, nice upward trend in favour of the Euro this morning, just confirming all that positive data on the calendar. Let's have a look at the Euro JPY. Okay, so the JPY has actually been really strong over every currency pair that it's paired with in this software. So the Euro JPY, the Great British Pound JPY, obviously we've had that poor data from Great Britain, so we expect it to drop. There's that data at 9:30 from Great Britain, and it's already on a downward trend anyway. It's just pushed it even further. And the JPY, I do believe, is still strong over the US dollar as well. There we go. So we've got a nice downward trend since around about 6:30 this morning. So yeah, JPY is looking good, really. In terms of trends, we'd like to see a little bit more resistance in it. But as you can see, on this downward trend, it finds pockets of resistance and then slips, and then it will come up to pocket resistance again and then slip. So if you can identify these lines, and just play with that, then you can work with these trends in a support and resistance sort of trading fashion. But like I say, it's harder to predict. It's harder to spot them times when it's turning. Obviously, you've got to have sort of close eye on that sort of line chart as it's sort of fluctuating on whatever trading platform you're using, IQ options or expert options, or even the option bot 3 system. You just wait for that sort of to hit its peak and start turning and then come round. So this looks like it's hit a couple of pockets of resistance here as well. So like I say, at the moment, we're just going to see what's going to happen with this data. We've got 2 minutes before this CPI is coming out of Europe. We're going to see how that reacts to the charts. We'll see if we can get that live on video and just see if we can make sense of it. Really, it helps all of our sort of followers in the group just to understand what these events are and how they're going to affect the market. So right now, we would expect positive data from Europe to push that euro even further, especially against the Great British Pound, who's just had a really sort of it was negative data mainly. We've had one the GBP for fourth quarter that was slightly above forecast, but obviously not enough to sort of gain any momentum behind it. It's just slipped. So we've got 1 minute on this. Hopefully we'll get this set up and ready. So you're getting call signals already from the Euro GBP. Okay, so we'll see what this initial reaction's like. Okay, so this data's just come out now. It's all sort of on forecast really. There's nothing in the red, so nothing that wasn't expected. So to be honest, I mean it's not really having a massive impact on the charts. We would expect maybe a bit more of a reaction with the euro, Great British Pound, but it's just sort of flattening off, you know. So they're not really expecting much growth, or it's not sort of dropping too much. It's just going to sit here for now, and we're just going to see if this might now provide us with a little bit of resistance in that particular pair. Like I said, the euro just seems to have bounced down here twice. And just seem to have sat there now. So, like I say, these little pockets of support and resistance might be popping up now and giving us an opportunity, but definitely not this morning. There really has been much to really sort of jump at. Obviously, I don't like sending signals unless I feel like the opportunity is going to last for a while. So that's why it's been a little bit slow this morning. Again, we've got downward trends here. And these little pockets of resistance here, you can see it just popped up resistance there, just come back down. Obviously, this initial reaction here will be that data coming out of Great Britain at 9:30. It was negative, so it's come back down in favour of the Swiss franc, and now it's just fluctuating again. So this could be a good little resistance line there, really, because we know that the Great British Pound is pretty weak. That data is not going to help. So it's going to try and claw itself back, but it could just reach these points and come back down again without much luck. So in about an hour's time, well, we've actually got another announcement in Europe in the next 30 minutes, the German 30-year bond auction. So that, again, it's worth having a look at the chart, seeing how that's going to react, especially with something like the Great British Pound, who's already been negative. And then once this US market opens, again, look at how this data is going to affect what's already happened. So if this was positive data for the US as soon as it opened, you see there's quite a bit coming out at 12 p.m. Then obviously look at things like the Great British Pound and the US dollar, and things that have already had a negative reaction with the data that they've come out with. So a positive reaction on the other side would suggest that it's going to push it even further down. So again, the Great British Pound here on the US, very similar patterns across the majority of the US pairs. You see there's a little pocket of resistance there, and it's the same sort of very similar image on charts in terms of resistance again. So again, it's a big drop. It tries to claw it back up, and it's struggling. So that's the same on the Swiss franc and the USD. Let's have a quick look at the JPY. That's had a downward trend all day, really. Yeah, it's tried. It's very similar, you know. It's clawing back up and not really getting anywhere. So that's a good sign, really. We might see if we can trade that in a second. See what Great British Pound we've got available. So this is Great British Pound, US dollar. As you can see, my internet is really shit today. It's really slow, which is it's not helping things. So where are we? So we're having a look at the Great British Pound, US dollar. Okay, so that slips quite a bit. We'd like to see it about 1.2451 or 50, and then we'll probably think about placing a put. So you can see up here, I think that is at about 52151. There we go, yeah, 50. So we want it up about here, and then we'll think about placing a put. As you can see, we've just missed that lowest point there. If you have a look on that chart, it's been this little support pocket here, this little W. It looks like That's support there. So it's just bounced down to that twice and come back up, and just going to keep an eye on it and see where it heads. You know, if it hits down, stops hitting this support line again, we might be able to place a put there, a call, sorry. And if it comes up to this resistance line up here, then we can think about placing that put trade in the opposite direction. So we'll sit back on this one. We'll see what's going to happen. We've got another hour yet before this data comes out of the US. So it could just sort of sit here now, not really sort of fight for too much sort of movement. You might just find it just sitting here now, wait for that next data, and then it'll just react again with that US market. So I'm going to pause this, and then we'll see if we can get an opportunity to trade it. Okay, so I'm just sitting here at the moment, and it's quite easy to see on this particular chart view right now that over the sort of space of maybe 20 minutes or so, it is still continuing to come down. It's hitting a peak. It's really sort of trying to climb to that peak again. It's almost reached it, and then it's sort of dropping back down again. And every time it climbs up, it never quite reaches it. Gets to that a slightly lower position and turns. And again, we're seeing this a lot. And overall, this is creating that downward trend. So we might be sort of waiting a while for it to actually reach a higher position for us to actually place that trade. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow this trend. Now, the way I'm going to do this, since I've identified that overall the Great British pound is going down, and it has been slipping across most currency pairs all morning. This negative news isn't going to help. So what I'm going to do, as it's sort of trending down, I'm going to follow this direction. So when it's at one of these peaks and looks like it's heading back down, I'm going to place a put. So as you can see, we've probably just missed that opportunity there. Or it's coming up now. So it's a nice sort of high position now. As it starts coming back down, I'm going to place a put. Okay, so let's place that trade for me there. As you can see, we've waited for it to reach a high position, and it's not gone past this several times over the past few minutes. It looks like it's placed a few trades for me there, but that's not too bad. Okay, so just managed to place a few trades around this section here, and just as long as it lands below that, like I say, we're just picking up on these fluctuations, on this natural downward trend, and that should land us in the money really. Awesome. Okay, so yeah, as you can see here, look on this sort of image here, you wait for it to come up, reach that desired position. We know we can see that it's naturally it's got a sort of downward trend going on it. So trading with that direction makes a lot more sense than trading up. So we'll close that one. Again, wait for it to reach a higher position. It's sitting really low at the moment. I really wouldn't want to risk it. So we'll just wait for it to get up a little bit, and we'll go back down again like the same way we did the other time. You can see, so every time it does sort of try and reach that sort of same peak, and it just drops again. So it's just not got the strength behind it. If it continues doing this, like I say, naturally it's just going to create a downward trend. So right now it's quite high. Okay, just need this to update. I don't like that. So I feel like it's going to reach its peak and turn now. There we go. You can see it's turning. Get that trade in. Looking out. Look at that delay. Man. Oh well. Hopefully that'll be enough. This guy got it right. Look at that. He got it right at the top of that peak and turned it back round. So it might lose this. I came in it a little bit too late, and let's say it just seems to be climbing a little bit more now. So I'm going to try another one here since it's dropping. Okay, so looks like both of them might end up in the money at this rate, and that first one should do. I think it came in around about halfway down this line, so it should stay in the money. Let's have a look. Yeah, that one was in the money as well. So that was I'd say a little bit unfortunate that it came down a little bit too far, but still it was just enough to catch it in the money. Like I say, it's just sometimes that latency issue you have with some of these platforms, it can create them few sort of points difference, and obviously that will make a difference in a result or in a win or a loss. So currently this is still in the money. Let's say it's holding its own now. It's not sort of dropping as nicely as I'd like to see. I'd like to see a little bit more of a drop in it. Okay, looks like it's just going to be a very close one. Okay, fantastic. So that's 3. Okay, you can see the difference here now, though. Sort of, it's climbed up. We want to see it drop down here, really. Right now, just flattened out a little bit. Maybe sort of just give it 5 minutes and see where it sits and see what's going on here. So it's just broken past this line here. This little resistance line it met a moment ago. So let's just keep an eye on it, see where it's going to go. Let's zoom out a little bit. So you just hit that same peak again and come back round. So there's a new resistance line for us to look at. Okay, so it's going to come up. I'm going to see if I can get one more trade on this. Now it's actually close to this expiry time. I came in quite early then. Hopefully that's early enough to get us another win on this. Again, it's not dropping as much as I'd like. You know, I've increased the risk now because it's just flattening out a little bit. It's not having them big sort of spikes we saw a minute ago. So, you know, it will increase that risk. You know, we'd like to see this sort of movement, you know, as opposed to sort of just dropping a few points. But there wasn't very much time left on that trade, so I still feel good about it. It's in the money right now. It was. We need to drop down for the next 5 seconds. No, it's not having it. Okay, so I think we've missed that one. It's going to pick up a new resistance line here to see if we can get it. Come on, wake up. No, that's not happening. Say I'm offline now. So for some reason my expert option is not playing games. So if it had worked and I had managed to place that trade, in theory it would have worked. You know, I really needed to place that put then, and this one would have won by the looks of it, but my fucking computer was failing on me. So that's a bit shit. What else we got? Let's see if there's any other opportunities while we're here. There's Euro GBP. Let's see what's happening to this now. A few minutes after that event. See, the Great British Pound seems to be coming back now. So where is this going to sit now? Where can we go with this? See, I'd see the next sort of resistance line, support and resistance, would be here. I mean, it could sort of continue to trend down, and then you've got a pivot point here at least for it to sort of stop. There's another sort of possible pivot point here, but I definitely say that it's going to sort of it's going to have some support there. Whether or not it stays there, it might just break through it, but it'll probably hover there for a minute and then come back. It's hard to say at this time, really. We'll have to wait until after this US market opens. Okay, so let's go back to that Euro USD, or Great British Pound USD even. Okay, so now we can see an upward trend emerging. So let's see what's going on the option block chart. Okay, so yes, this would be the beginning of that upward trend. So it's just hit this little resistance line here now, 1.2451. Let's see what's going to go on with this, because it can break through this now. Like I say, that negative data for the Great British Pound, it's the pound's pulling back against the euro, which we've just seen. It seems to be pulling back against the US dollar, and it looks like it's just going to break this resistance line. So it's just straight through it. So now we need to switch this up for placing calls by the looks of it. As it's sort of coming back down, we'll see these little fluctuations, and then you want to be trading in the opposite direction again. So we'll wait for this to come down and hit one of these sort of lower peaks, and as it starts climbing up, we're going to start placing calls again. So let's just zoom in on this for now. I'm going to go for it there because I can feel it. I can see it's still climbing. I'm going to place this call, and hopefully it will just continue to trend up, which it is doing on the option bot charts here. So we've just seen this just broken through that resistance line, which I said it was on the expert. Cool. So again, we can still see this is probably going to climb up a little bit more. Look, that's just breaking through there. So again, as it's climbing, we're going to go for it. You can see that's just at that little movement. Again, it's a little bit late on that trade. You know, it's really high here, but hopefully it's just going to follow this upward trend for now, and just drop us again in the money. And again, this is just taking advantage of market conditions at the time. You know, if you see this happening, then take advantage of it. If you don't, then obviously take a walk and sort of come back later when the options are different. You know, see this is dropping now. I'd say it's a little bit late coming in. I'd prefer to have it a little bit further down here, but I'd say it just took a couple of seconds for that to actually place that trade. So it dropped as well out of the money now. But as soon as this one expires, I'm going to give it a go for another one, see if we can catch this up. Well, okay, let's see what's going to happen here, because there we go, let's go. Okay, so it has hit this line a few times there. It seems to be creeping back down to it. So we'll see what happens here. I think if this one wins, I'm going to call it the last one on this one for now. I've got training session in 10 minutes anyway, so I'd like to just see if we can get this uploaded. And then I'm going to go over and show someone this exact strategy I'm using live. So hopefully we'll be able to make some money with some live traders today. Fantastic. Okay, so there you go. It's really quite a simple strategy. Just looking for the movement in the markets, following it, and then just coming in and hitting them fluctuations. So when it's low, you want to be trading high, and just following it up. You can see this is clearly sort of trending up still. It's a little fluctuation. You just keep trading that until you feel that it's reached that limit. It's not going to go any further. And then maybe think about placing puts on it. You know, if it's gone up and it starts to trend back down again, just identify these little pockets of support and resistance, and then come down to it. So say it's coming down and down, and let's give it a quick look. See, it's at quite a low point. I'll be thinking about placing that call trade any minute. See this line here, it's just reaching here. There's a good chance it's going to sit there and turn around. I'm going to place it here. No! Okay. Okay, so it's got some climbing to do, that one. It doesn't look like it's going to win, which to me means stop trading. You know, obviously that has not gone up any further, and it doesn't look like it's going to. It's trying to climb up to now, just in the money for a split second there, and it's just put me back in the money. So I don't know, with that sudden drop, you know, it could be hitting that resistance line now, not really wanting to go any further than that. I could think about sort of coming back in the opposite direction. So, I mean, it's still come up in the money for us now, which is probably a little bit of luck there. But it was definitely unlucky the way that sort of flipped back round. So I say it's still landed us in the money now, which is at the end of the day what we want to see. But I think I'm going to stop trading on this one now, because I do think if it's just reached this line again, look, it's not going past that. That looks like resistance, clearly. So let's have a look on here. That hasn't updated yet, but that will come up here and show you that little update. But that is definitely hitting that line and coming back down. So again, we can see put trades coming in here. So we can see reaching up to this point and then coming back down. There's that possibility. I'm going to wait and see what's going on. Obviously, you can see on this point here, it's actually sort of been trending up and then sort of come back down, and overall, there we go. As you can see, it's come up for the past since 10 a.m. So past 25 minutes or so, and let's say it's just reached that little peak there and coming back down. Now, if we have a look at the other Great British Pound pairs quickly, and we'll see if that starts to sort of show similar images. You know, the Great British Pound coming up. And it seems to have capped off there. It's definitely hitting resistance there. We can see it's just that line. And the Euro GBP, it should be going in the opposite direction. You should be seeing it moving down at the end and then maybe flicking up. Yeah, so like I say, we've got this downward movement here, which we've seen across all the GBP currency pairs for the past half an hour, and now it's coming back up again. So it seems that it has hit that resistance line on that, and it doesn't want to go any further than that. As you can see, it's not done again. So again, placing put trades until we can identify when it's going back up again. So if you can spot these patterns, then take your opportunities while they're there, and don't force the opportunities. It's not there all the time, and if it's too hard to understand or too hard to predict, then don't trade. Try and take a step back and come back when it's a little bit easier to predict. And obviously, let's say you've seen how we've just done it here. You just wait for it to reach a low position if you wanted to place high, and obviously wait for a higher position if you want to place put. So yeah, guys, Signals Feed is a signals group on Facebook. We give out free signals. We recommend using one of these demo accounts, either this one, IQ Options. I also use the Option Bot system, which is a trend indicator. It's a graph. This is the main tool I use, really. I use this day in, day out. It doesn't really matter what trading platform you use, but so in terms of a broker, but this really is the main software for me to find these opportunities. These charts are great for sort of getting a great visual of when you need to be sort of placing that trade as well. So it all works really well. Now you need to create a real account and then switch back to demo. Test these signals out for as long as you want on demo, and then when you're ready to play with real money, I do believe the minimum deposit for this one is $50, for example, so it's not like the other ones, and it's a good way to get started. The feedback in the group so far, a lot of the feedback and the comments have been positive so far, and a lot of people are feeling the benefit of the group. So yeah, it's really great to see that it seems to be helping people. Obviously, we're hosting one-to-one training sessions where I can work with you for an hour each day, and I can help you sort of spot this support and resistance yourself, and then from there you'll be able to do it yourself, just with a little bit of help. It's not rocket science. As you can see, I've just clearly demonstrated how to make money doing this system, this strategy, and like I say, you can do it too. So it's not that hard, and it's not that expensive either. So if you want to come over to signalspeed.com, get involved, and I'll tell you what you need to do to get involved with training. Thanks. Bye bye.